Okay, so going to retrieve the previous activity. I remember the folder name is Blade Sam. So we're going to open it. Blade Sam. This one. So open. Okay, inside our Blade Sam folder, under the views, we have another folder which is site. Under site, we have their home.blade.php, which is this one. We have js.blade.php, this one. Have layout and PHP blade. So we open it, PHP blade. Okay. So we all know that this blade that layout that blade that PHP is only a layout that we use all throughout the code. So this is the format of our blade layout that blade.php. So I'm going to close this, and we will have home.blade.php. So inside our home.blade.php, we just have welcome to my website inside the content, and we have the title homepage, and we extend the layout, or we say extends site.layout. So under the title section, we have homepage, and the content we will have an output of welcome to my website. So that is inside home. Now let's open the development server. So PHP artisan, PHP artisan serve. Okay. I'm going to click control, then plus click to load our code. So this is the default. This one is the default. The welcome that blade that PHP, the welcome documents of the default documents of Laravel. So to access again, to access welcome to access home.blade.php, to access this one, we're going to look at our route. So inside the web.php, so we have here the routes for our home and PHP. For our home, this is the route we created. So slash home. So when we type at the address bar slash home, it will view or it will display home, which is located at the folder site. So home blade.php. So let's try slash home. So this is the output. Okay. This is the output. This is the output of home. Now for PHP, so that is PHP. And let's see what else. So only site.php and site home is available. Now for our js.blade, okay, js.blade. So this is supposed to be the file for js.blade, but we don't have any route for js.blade. Okay, if we want to add route, or if we want to create route for js.blade, so we just copy and we just write here JavaScript, and the file is js.blade.php. So we have to change, instead of home, we just write js and save. So now it's saved. So that's it. So let's go to the browser and type JavaScript. So so we don't have the image yet. Okay, let's see what is the problem. So we have javascript.png. So let's take a look at the public. If there is a javascript.png. Oh, so this is the error. Okay, so save, and let's see if we will have the image. Okay, we have the image. So that is just a review of our lesson last when we tackle about layout, blade layout. Okay, so to continue, our lesson is, which is lesson 7. Okay, lesson 7. So our lesson is controller. Okay, controller is a part of the application that handles the user interaction. The controller interprets the mouse and keyboard input from the user, informing model and the view to change as appropriate. A controller sends command to the model to update its state. It sends command to its associate view to change the view's presentation. For example, scrolling a particular document. Okay. Now, the question is, how do we create a controller? Okay. We could create controller using the artisan command make controller. Okay. So in the terminal or in the shell or in the shell CMD of Windows, shell of Windows, we could create a controller using this command. Now this one is the name of your controller, and this one is the command in order for you to create a controller. Okay, so let's try. So instead of going to the shell, I'm just going to close this one. I will just work here in the terminal of Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to terminate the development server. So now I have the prompt. So here in the prompt, I could type PHP artisan, okay, then space, make colon controller. So that's it. Then what is the name of your controller? Let's say my controller. My controller. Controller. So this is the name of my controller. My wait, my controller. Okay. So before I hit this enter key, okay, I'm going to show you where will be the location of the the controller. So inside HTTP, you have their controller, okay, inside there. So apps, okay, inside apps you have HTTP. Then inside controller, this is the place where we create our new controller, which is my controller. So once I hit the enter key, file will be generated. This one, controller created successfully. So you see my controller, and now I have another file here, which is my controller. My controller. Now, if I'm going to double click this one, it will present me another page containing a structure wherein you could add the controller. Okay. Now, uh, so we're going to migrate. Oh, all our routes into the controller. But because this one is more appropriate than using route, yung mga tinatawag natin ng mga business logic should be appearing in the controller, not inside the route. Okay. Later on, we're going to add business logic. We are not uh, allowed to put business logic here or to connect with the model or views for our inside the route. We use controller for that. Okay? Dito tayo nagde-declare not. Now, to create a controller, okay, it is same thing with this route. Look at this function. Then you are using a closure, which is uh, what this is what we call the closure, okay, or anonymous function, because we don't declare the name of the function, so that we call it anonymous function. So in my controller, you're going to create a function. You're going to type public, okay, then function, and you have to name your function. Like for example, the name of your function is home. So open, close, parenthesis, then curl, then most of the function have this return, okay, and open, close, parenthesis. Now, let's try to convert this first one, okay, let's convert home, this one, home, to a controller. Okay, so we have home, then inside our home, this is the one that we type in our browser. Okay, and this is the location where the page is located. So I'm going to change it here. So home, as in return, going to trigger the view, and we will call site dot home. Okay, that's it. So go back to the web. Okay, go back to the web.php, and we will erase this one. Erase. So we don't need this anymore. Okay. Now, in order for you to add, uh, in order for you to call this controller, you have to use what this one below in order for you to trigger the controller, in order for you to call the controller. So this is the format: route get /home, which is the one that we type in the browser, and the name of your controller, the name of our controller, and the name of the function that we created in the controller. This one. So the name of the function we create is home. This is the location. When we called home, what will happen? It will call the view, and the view is located at site that, and the name of the file is home. So that will be triggered. So if we're going to revise our route, we will say this uh, double square bracket, then the name of your controller, which is my controller. Okay, my controller, and that symbol specify that we are calling the class. We're calling the class, then comma, what is the name of the class, which is home, or what is the name of the function? Home. That's the name of a function. Now we are done with our route using our created controller. Now, before you before this one After doing this route, you have to specify inside at the top of this web that PHP that you're using my controller. So you had to add use. Now, what's the location of my controller? The location of my controller is inside apps. So you just type apps, then slash, I sorry, backslash. Then inside apps, you have there HTTP, HTTP, HT, I sorry, what's happening to my keyboard? So you have there app, then slash, then HTTP slash. So under HTTP, you have controller slash, and you specify the controller that we created, which is my controller. Okay, pay attention to the letters or this is case sensitive and semicolon to terminate the statement. Okay, so the location of your controller, which is at app HTTP controller, and the file that you're going to use, which is my controller. Now that your controller is now connected with your route or your web.php, they can now access this one, which is my controller, which is the class or the function name home. Inside the name home, inside the class or the home function, you have there return view. So you're going to return a view located at site with a file name of home.lay.php. Now let's see what will happen. So I'm going to save this one, the web.php and my controller.php. Now our development server is not yet open, so I'm going to trigger the command artisan serve. So we have error artisan serve. Artisan serve. Okay, so we have error in our web route. I think this one, the slash. Okay, change lang natin. Save again. Then I'm going to run again the serve. Okay, and it's now working. So, na-click ko na. Let's see, sa browser natin. Let's try slash home. We have another error. Okay, we have another error. App HTTP controllers. So supposed to be that is controllers. Okay, so we're going to add S and save our work. Okay, so let's get back to the home, enter, and we have our first program that has a controller. Okay, let's look again. So this is our first controller. And let's try converting another one to a controller. So I'm going to copy this one, copy, and paste it here. And I will convert this one, the PHP, to a controller. So home, okay. So PHP, I'm going to write here PHP, PHP controller. What's the name of the controller? My controller. We will add that inside my controller. And what will be the name of our function? So I will name our function as PHP also. Okay, what else? So we will eliminate this code, and let's add another controller. Okay, and this time for JavaScript. So we will type JavaScript, and what will be the name of our function? JavaScript is very long, so let's type JS for easy access. JS. So we don't need this anymore. So now that the 2 is now converted to a controller, so let's add the function inside the inside my controller. So to create another function, of course, you're going to type public, then function, then PHP, then curl, then just type return, and use the view and the location of PHP. So that is inside the site folder, and the name would be PHP, semicolon, semicolon. So I'm just going to copy this one, copy. Then what will be the name of our function? So this is JS, and it is located at site with a file name of JavaScript. JavaScript. I'm going to save the controller. Save the controller. Okay, save the web. Save. And what else? How about the layout? Let's take a look at the layout. So we have home slash JavaScript and slash JavaScript. So in our controller, okay, in our web, buo ta siya tinawag. Sa layout, buo rin siya tinawag. So, yung sabihin, okay siya. So, let's try. So, save ko ulit. Save. And let's go to the browser. So, trigger ko yung home. Home, and I will click PHP. I will click JavaScript. So, we have an error again. We have an error. Okay. So, JavaScript not found. Okay. So, mali siguro yung pangalan natin. I'm going to go to the my controller, and what is the name of our code? Okay, views. So inside our views, we have js.blade. So this is JS. Sorry, this is JS. So save, save. So JavaScript. Okay, so JavaScript, home, PHP. JavaScript. We don't have Laravel yet. Okay, don't have Laravel yet. So we successfully convert our route to a controller. So this is how you convert your route, and this is how you build your controller. So this is more proper when we call a views. So we could add some statement here later. Okay, and don't forget that you need to specify this line in order for your web.php to access the controller that you have created. Okay, so save. So one more time. So this is our home PHP JavaScript. Okay, I'll show you the code. So the home .blade.php, js.php, php that blade.php, and the controller. We only have three classes inside our my controller: home, PHP, and JS. And for our web, for our route, we only have this three route, okay, and converted using controller that we have created. So I think that's it. That's it for today. Medyo madilim na. Okay, bye.